I don't think every company is a good fit for SEO, especially in the B2B SaaS world. So there's a number of situations where SEO is not a smart move. One might be you're under a ton of pressure, VCs, whoever's funding a company, PE companies, whatever, to get results super fast. SEO is not smart if you can't actually dedicate the time, cash, or resource to make it a safe bet. Instead, you might be better off initially growing through, your existing network, your founder's network, maybe posting on LinkedIn or something else. You speak to an SEO team and you'll ask them, how long does it take to get results from SEO? And then you'll hear the usual, either it depends or 6 to 12 months as a blanket generic response. But often with this kind of stuff, you can see impact within 90 days of publishing a page.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about SEO. My guest is Sam Dunning. Sam is the founder of Breaking B2B, a digital agency which helps B2B companies with SEO and web design to drive revenue. Next to this, he runs the Breaking B2B podcast, has a daily newsletter, and puts out a lot of content regarding SEO and digital marketing. Sam started his career in sales, moved over to marketing at one point, so I guess that is where the revenue focus comes from. But let's find out. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to the conversation.
Cool. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to talk about SEO today. How would you explain SEO to somebody?
So search engine optimization, I guess in its simplest term for folks in the SaaS and B2B SaaS space, is trying to capture a prospect that's searching for what you do or your offer or your product or your service on Google. In an ideal world, we know that at any given time, roughly 5% of our target market are in buying mode and the other 95% aren't. So if we can target those prospects that need the offer, are searching for it, or searching for the category or the solution, or comparing you to alternative solutions or other things, and we can get in front of them on Google by being in the non-paid, the organic top results, then we have a chance to, if they land on our page, to convert them into a sign-up lead or demo or a booked call. That's the main focus of SEO, getting the organic, juicy listings right now and ramping up organic non-paid traffic and potential leads.
But you can rank number one just by paying, right? So what is the actual importance of doing SEO?
There's a few gains to it, really, I suppose. Is one, if you want to reduce your reliance on paid media, be that Google paid search, Google ads, be that review paid listing sites, or view that elsewhere. I suppose the other thing is, especially if you're dealing with a tech savvy audience, a lot of folks know what a sponsored ad is on Google and will simply ignore it. I mean, I'm biased, so I'm going to ignore it, but I know a lot of marketers, especially in the tech place more importance on the organic top ranking sites. The other is the Evergreen effect. As a rough example, when you search for something on YouTube, let's say I wanted to learn about SaaS marketing, I might see videos that are a couple of weeks old, but at the same time, I might see videos that are 3, 4, 5 years old. So that's the compounding effect. Just like with searching for a video on YouTube, searching for something on SEO, your rankings can last for months, years, or longer, meaning that they can drive a sustainable flow of traffic rather than having to pay for each and every click. You can build up that reputation, you can build up that organic traffic, and you can attack with SEO, just like paid media, you can attack different stages of the funnel. So folks that are maybe at the informative and educational stage, trying to learn around your industry, folks that are maybe around the mid stage, maybe looking for checklists, examples, templates, or folks that are right at that bottom funnel stage, kind of almost ready to take a sign up or take a demo where they're looking directly for the offer. Of course, you're not paying for each click and you're improving your mind share, potential traffic and potential leads. So that's a few wins.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, in the end, if you stop putting money into paid ads, things will stop. This is the real long-term gain you get out of it. When should a company think about doing something regarding SEO?
Good questions. I guess I'm a little bit different to some SEOs in the sense that I don't think every company is a good fit for SEO, especially in the B2B SaaS world. So there's a number of situations where SEO is not a smart move. One might be you're under a ton of pressure, VCs, whoever's funding a company, PE companies, whatever, to get results super fast. So they've said, look, we need to get X amount of leads, sign up demos by the next quarter. In that case, your cash or resource is probably not best spent by SEO, just because by the time you publish the content, they probably expected the leads. So you'd be way better off investing your time into paid media via ads, maybe even outbound sales or similar. Another situation is if you're in a new category or new market, your offer is not well known, it's not in a mature sector. So people aren't actually searching for it directly on Google. So you're not going to be able to capture leads. In that situation, I'd encourage you to actually work out where your dream clients are hanging out. And in that case, educate them around the problem you solve, the value you bring, and kind of bring your offer and your category to a known state. That would be way better off. Because if folks don't know about your offer, they're not going to search for it on Google. So SEO is not a good bet of your time. And the other thing is if you don't have resource to make it happen, right? Like if you're bootstrapped company, maybe you have limited cash, limited resource, limited staff or headcount, then unless there is kind of a quick win with SEO, which sometimes there is, SEO is not smart if you can't actually dedicate the time, cash or resource to make it a safe bet. Instead, you might be better off initially growing through, I don't know, your existing network, your founder's network, maybe posting on LinkedIn or something else. Let's pretend none of those are the case. And we're in a market where we do have active demand. We have folks searching for our offer, or they're searching for the problem we solve, or they're comparing us to alternative vendors. And we have either cash to hire a contractor or a team, or we have some resource in-house to build out the content engine, do any web dev we need and similar. Then SEO is probably a smart move to start doing all those good things we talked about earlier, ramping up our organic traffic, building our mind share, and filling the funnel with some opportunities.
Yeah, I like that you say that it's not for everybody, because normally people say you have to do SEO or you have to do something right, but in the end, it's not for everybody, as you mentioned. Like if you want to have quick results, industry is not well known, or you don't simply have the resources.
Yeah. So, and that's probably the same for most channels in SaaS marketing or B2B marketing, right? Like to give it a good test, which in B2B marketing, we're not talking weeks, we're talking quarters. You have to be sensible about it. Otherwise, it's probably going to flop.
I'm going to ask a couple of follow-up questions regarding what you said. But first, I want to ask about the common mistakes just to make it more fun. What are some of the common mistakes you see, maybe especially SaaS companies make when doing SEO?
There's loads. Biggest one is falling into what I call the traffic trap, going for a traffic at all costs approach to your SEO and kind of hitting the top of funnel hard because you think that getting more traffic to your website is going to result in revenue. Before revenue, we need a conversion. We need either a sign up, demo booked, or sales call booked, or maybe early in the stage, a lead magnet downloaded or a webinar sign up, whatever that conversion point is. Now, the issue is if you focus purely on the top funnel, i.e. informational based keywords, educational based keywords, in very simple terms, that could be things like what is a KPI or what is a CRM or how to build a website. The problem with that is a lot of those super light informational based terms are being wiped out by AI. So for example, when you search some of these simple information terms on Google, you'll see above the fold AI overviews answering those straight away. So it almost removes the standard need for someone to click through to your website and go to your article, your landing page. And the second thing is, even if your website did rank well, someone would probably just search something like what is or how to with a very simple question, land on your website, get the info they need and bounce. At the very best, they might download a lead magnet or check out some more of your content like your YouTube or your podcast. So instead, I encourage folks to flip that on its head and start with the bottom of the funnel first, i.e. focusing on money keywords. What is a prospect most likely to search when they need our offer now? In the SaaS world, that's usually things like best category software, or best category tools, or best category platform, competitor alternatives, competitor pricing, or competitor reviews, competitor 1 versus competitor 2, software for use case or software for niche you serve. That kind of stuff is much more likely to result in a demo, a sign up, or a lead compared to kind of going for top funnel. Now, top funnel informational content does have its place when you make it more crisp and specific and utilize kind of prospects' pain points that often gets raised on sales calls, or utilizing their kind of main jobs to be done. Using that framework, it can work. And it's also good for building something called topical authority to help rank your landing pages for your bottom of funnel or mid funnel terms. That's quite a big mistake, going too heavy on traffic at all costs, whereas bottom of funnel searches tend to have less traffic, but a lot higher buying intent. So they're more likely to result in a sales qualified lead or a marketing qualified lead. That's probably the first one I'd say, but I'm happy to dive into more.
Yeah, I'm unhappy to say that I fall in this trap as well. So we're now deleting a lot of our content, which is basically what you mentioned, like just focusing on a lot of top of funnel keywords. And we're now actually not doing anything with them. And at one point removing them because it didn't actually help us to convert and it wasn't really doing any good for us. Unhappy to say that we fall into this trap as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think people do it because when you go to any SEO tool, you see those kind of keywords and those kind of search terms have a lot of traffic. So you think like, oh, I need to capture that.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a difficult one, especially if you, I suppose you're newer to SEO, or maybe someone's tuning in and they're maybe a marketer at a SaaS company, but they've got like 90 plus tasks they have to do each week. So SEO is just a small piece of the puzzle of all the other activities they're managing. So I can understand, right? You jump into a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush, look up some industry relevant keywords, and you see something that's maybe low difficulty, but high traffic, but it's an informational what is, how to keyword. You think that might be easy to rank for. I'll get some AI assistants to build out the article, publish it to the website, get a bit of traffic, but it doesn't really result in a lot on the back end in terms of leads, signups, or revenue. So it is an easy trap to fall into. Now, there is a play for top funnel SEO still, in my opinion, but it's more specific, longer tail. It can actually be a play for folks that are maybe in a newer category where there isn't a ton of people searching directly for your offer, but you understand their job to be done or their problem. Like they might have a incumbent way of getting something done. Like it might be something like how to build a finance projection within Google Sheets, or like how to build a LinkedIn content calendar within Google Sheets or within Microsoft Excel. You know they're facing this specific problem with this specific platform. This is how they're getting the job done today, but they just don't know that your offer exists. So in that case, you could say, we know you're facing this problem with Google Sheets and building out this calendar or building out this finance planner. This is one way you could get the job done. Or in that article, you could save yourself 10 hours a week. You could use our SaaS. You could sign up for free. It's going to save you this time, this pain, and get a free trial. Those kind of jobs to be done, specific articles could work at the top funnel.
Nice.
Another mistake, especially for SaaS companies, is falling into the mindset that you need to waste loads of time on technical SEO. So I believe a lot of technical SEO is BS, especially for newer SaaS companies. SaaS companies are super guilty of having really thin content websites, especially when they start out, which makes sense because there's probably a million jobs to do. So usually you'll see a SaaS website, it might be like homepage, products, features, results, book a demo, like 5 to 7 pages roughly, right? And if you've got 5 to 7 pages, technical SEO should be at the bottom of your list. Yet there's still some agencies that you'll hire and they'll spend weeks or months doing these random technical audits, and it's completely pointless. Your time is far better spent understanding exactly what in-market prospects search for when they need your offer, when they have problems you solve, when they compare you to alternatives, and looking to exhaust those bottom of funnel keywords and build best-in-class content that ranks for that, and also looking to do some link building to supplement any of those more competitive keywords and topics to rank, kind of having a mindset of publishing at scale, because a lot of your competitors can be far beyond you. Whereas if you're messing around with things like image alt tags and trying to get 100 score on page speed, that's not going to help you. That's another huge mistake I see.
We're going to turn it around because we're going to talk about, I guess, like how can people do it the right way. So my question would be, how would you do SEO for a SaaS company? You kind of already mentioned, start with Boku first, money keywords, link building, mindset to produce content at scale. But maybe take us from step one. If you now can do the SEO for a SaaS company, how would you do it?
Yeah, sure thing. One of the first things is taking a step back out of an SEO mindset into good B2B and SaaS marketing. If you don't know it yet, if you're the founder, you probably know all this info because you're probably running sales calls if you're early stage. If you're later stage, you won't be. So I would actually, on this step one exercise, involve maybe your marketing leader and your sales leader, or if it's just you, your founder, pull previous sales calls, like Fathom recordings or Gong recordings, whatever you use, because you're going to want to leverage insights from customer calls to know dream clients, problems, impact of problems, their goals, their jobs to be done, and more. So the easiest way of doing step one is make a Google sheet or an Excel sheet and fire up 4 main columns. First column is, what does everyone refer to your offer to? Like, what are all the ways of wording your offer? So in the calendar scheduling space that I often use, Could be calendar scheduling software, scheduling tools, scheduling platform, calendar booking tools. List what your offer can be referred to in column 1. Column 2, what are the main money niches that you serve? What are the industries you serve best? But not just any industry. Ideally ones that have historically bought well from you, ones that have that juicy problem you solve, ones that are motivated to solve it, ones that can easily afford your offer, that have no problem investing cash in it. It's never a concern over money. They know it's useful and they'll spend the cash. The third is main competitors. So what are the competitors that always come up on sales calls, almost to an annoying point where you're like, for God's sake, it's them again. List all those. In the calendar scheduling world, as an example, it's probably Calendly, Chili Piper, HubSpot Meetings, Revenue Hero. Those are a few that come to mind. There's a bunch of others too. And then the column 4 would be jobs to be done. So what are your dream clients' struggling moments? What are the problems they face? What are the ways they might get it done before knowing a sort of solution like yours exists? Maybe it's Google Sheets, stuff like that. And then you can label out those problems that someone might be doing, those how-to based searches that are longer tail, more crisp and specific to their world. So that's what I start with. And the whole reason of doing this exercise is so you can build out bottom of funnel and some mid funnel and top funnel keywords that your dream clients would search for and make some long tail variants of those. If we fling it back to the calendar scheduling world, a really useful term to rank for would be something like best calendar scheduling software. Issue with that is it's really competitive, and you've probably got the giants like Calendly, Chili Piper, Revenue Hero, HubSpot, all ranking top 4 or 5. As a new website or SaaS, you're not just going to rank for that. That's probably something you're going to want to build a really useful piece of content for, but it's going to be something you slowly chip away at. In the meantime, you probably want to look at longer tail keywords like your offer plus industry, i.e. best calendar scheduling tools for sales teams or HR teams or fintech or whatever those industries you serve best. Moving on to the competitors, going for competitor-based keywords can be another quick win. So, because quite often those have low search volume but high sales intent. So that's keywords like competitor alternatives, like Calendly alternatives or Chili Piper alternatives or Chili Piper pricing or Chili Piper reviews. Or it could be competitor 1 versus competitor 2, and then you position yourself as a third offer. It's like HubSpot Meetings versus Calendly. You position yourself as a newer solution they might not have been aware of, how you stand out, your differentiators in the marketplace, and why they should consider choosing you. So that's the third one. And the last one for exhausting that list is the jobs to be done. So that could be like how to, and then specific problem that your prospects face and raise on sales calls, or how to, and then whatever they're trying to do in the incumbent solution. That's a good starting point. And then you can, once you've made some potential long tail queries, long tail keywords, you can bash those through Ahrefs or SEMrush, check they've got a little bit of search volume, but don't be put off if they are low search volume, because usually the lower search volume, the higher buying intent, and so more likely to drive a potential lead. So that's the first thing you want to do. And then once you've exhausted that, then you can kind of start looking what ranks, which is called assessing the intent. And all that means really is the simplest way of doing that is find your keyword. So let's say we were trying to rank for Chili Piper alternatives. We type that into Google. We look at the top 3 organic non-paid listings, and they're probably listicle pages like, we reviewed the top 10 Chili Piper alternatives for 2025. And that's usually what that page could be. But on the flip side, it could be a landing page. It could be a service page. It could be a different how-to article. How-to would probably be more for a what is question or how-to informational based query. But this is more bottom funnel. So yeah, it's an alternative listicle. And usually to rank for that, you want to review how that page is structured and look for gaps in their page. So things like if they've done a top 10 list, I don't want to mess about and update my page in 6 months. So I try and blow it out the water. I'd probably do a top 20 list. I'd probably position my offer as number 1, but instead of talking about how great we are and how cool we are, let's leverage insights from sales calls, maybe do a comparison table of us against the top competitor, where we stand out, share our differentiators, definitely weave in our product. So GIFs or screenshots of that aha moment of kind of where our product kind of clicks into play and problems it solves. Weave in some customer quotes, testimonials, etc. And then a clear call to action and look for any gaps in the current page of what we can double down on. So that's kind of the first step 1 and step 2.
And this one is going to take a bit of time for people to do, right? Because in the end, they need to get first the sales calls, need to record them. I guess that is definitely step number 1. Then they can create the overview. From there, they can start running into the keyword research. What I was planning to ask, like, would you have some quick wins in here? But you kind of already mentioned it, the competitor alternatives, because everybody's looking for a quick win, right? Any others we can find in here?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you'll often hear, and I've been guilty of it in the past, you speak to an SEO team and you'll ask them, how long does it take to get results from SEO? And then you'll hear the usual, either it depends or 6 to 12 months as a blanket generic response. But often with this kind of stuff, you can see impact within 90 days of publishing a page. So like you said, that could be the competitor alternative or competitor pricing or competitor 1 versus competitor 2, and then you position yourself as a third offer. Some of those jobs to be done, kind of specific and crisp how-to keywords, you could look to get ranking as well. And then maybe even some of those offer plus industry you serve, best tool for industry or best software for specific industry. Like those ones you can get ranking probably quicker than you expected, can often be a reasonably quick win. But I suppose the thing to mention is, when you're doing your research, when you've made your exhaustive list of keywords, really take the time to review what's ranking well, look for gaps, look for how you can improve the offer. I talked about an article page, but it could be that what's Google's favoring, what's ranking well in the listing results page now is landing pages. And quite often landing pages are super thin on content. They use a problem agitation solution framework. Like you might be facing this problem, this is the impact, and here's our solution. But it's quite easy to make a better landing page. Leverage your insights from customer calls. We know you're facing this problem. This is the impact of not fixing it. Maybe embed a YouTube video on that specific topic with a how-to rundown or whatever it may be. YouTube videos tend to help pages rank a bit better and also increase session time and engagement. Maybe you weave in like your process. You weave in some more screenshots, GIFs, or relevant videos. Maybe at the bottom you have an FAQ section. Companies are really guilty of putting simple FAQs like, what is offer? How does it work? All that kind of really basic stuff. But weave in like the really difficult questions you get on sales calls, like based on that offer the landing page is for, why should I trust you over competitor 1? What's your refund policy? How long does it take to get ramped up? Do I get an account manager? Why should I trust you? Those are difficult questions to get on sales calls. And the reason those FAQs work so well is Google likes them because they appeal to their EEAT framework, experience, expertise, authority, trust. Prospects like them because it handles objections before they need to raise on a sales call. And also helps your sales team because it kind of speeds up sales cycles because you've already answered a lot of the questions you're going to get on a sales call. So it's good for SEO as well as a bit of enablement as well. So those are a few quick wins.
Yeah. And I love that you keep referring back to sales insights, because in the end, you're not making things up. When putting things on the website, you leverage the insights you have from the sales call. So you're already answering the questions which are going to come up anyway.
Exactly. Everything should be a feedback loop from what you hear from the market. Otherwise, probably the worst thing you can do SEO is kind of building maybe a really detailed page that maybe ranks, but it doesn't resonate with your market. So a prospect lands on it and maybe you've leaned too heavily on AI to help generate the page. They've landed on your article that's ranked position 1, but then they read words like, we're going to turbocharge your revenues with our all-in-one, all-singing, dancing revenue platform with 360-degree integrations. And then you're like, what the heck does that even mean? It sounds like it was written by a robot, and you just bounce off and go on to the next result. So I think it's really important to understand how your customers talk, problems they're facing, jobs they want to get done, and their goals, as well as doing SEO best practices.
Are you struggling to find people and companies which have access to your ideal customer profile? At Redditors, we just launched the second side of the marketplace, which allows you to search, filter, and contact B2B SaaS affiliates which have access to the audience you're looking for. We do this by leveraging first-party data sources. Want to learn more? Go to getredditors.com. Yeah, because if we turn it around, like if you would recommend people, how should they optimize their SaaS website for SEO? You mentioned a lot of jobs to be done. So that's a framework people can use to show, I guess, how you get the job done. Leverage client insights. Any other things they should be doing?
So you probably heard me at the start of this convo. I said a lot of technical SEO is BS, but there is basics that you want to do. So let's go back to our example earlier. We were talking about we want to rank for, let's say, calendar scheduling software as one of our longer term keywords. That's going to be a slow chip away to get against the competitors. So in that case, we want to make sure our meta title and description's got that keyword in. So we reviewed the top calendar scheduling softwares of 2025. Our URL would need that in. So it'd be yourdomain.com/calendar-scheduling-software. We'd want that within our H1, so our heading tag in the hero area of our page. So again, we reviewed the top 25 calendar scheduling softwares of 2025. You may want some internal links within your page, linking to maybe some relevant articles on the topic, and likewise those articles linking back to that page. So it makes it nice and easy for Google to crawl and build up some topical authority on that particular page. Aside from URL, metadata, H1, and another, you only have one H1 per page, and another heading tags to kind of split up the content nicely. Make sure the page is easy to read on mobile and PC, and it's easy to navigate, and you're weaving in screenshots and examples of your product to position your product as a painkiller, and relevant CTAs. That's probably the main thing I'd say on technical. Yes, you want your page to have a decent load speed, and you want your UI to be nice to navigate in UX. But apart from that, you're better off having a mindset of let's exhaust these bottom of funnel, mid funnel keywords, and let's have a mindset of publishing at speed. Because if you're a newer SaaS, or if you've got giant competitors in your market, the main way that you can overtake giants in your industry with SEO to get better traffic, more inbounds from organic search, is to publish at speed. Because the big competitors, they move so slow. Mid-market enterprise organizations, they can take weeks and months to get keywords signed off, another few months to get the content approved just in the Google Docs, then to actually get the design team to design the page, then the web team to publish it, legal to sign it off. You can literally go 6 to 7 months, I've seen it, in enterprise orgs before a page get published. Whereas as a scrappy startup or a smaller company, you can get this done in a week. You can literally spend a couple of days to do all those exercises that I've just outlined. And then if you can kind of agree something that's reasonable for your team, like we're going to hit these topics per week, and we can do a cadence of 8 new pages per month, you're going to slowly chip away at these companies. So that's one of the best ways to do it. And then I suppose the only other thing I've left out is backlinks. To rank for those more competitive keywords, you're going to need to build some links to those pages. One of the easiest ways to earn links, if you've got some reputation in the sector, is leveraging ideally your founder. If you've got a founder or a marketing leader or a revenue leader that's done quite a lot of PR in the past, or appeared on podcasts or done interviews, one of the simplest ways to earn some nice links is cut and paste their LinkedIn profile URL into SEMrush or Hrefs, click the backlinks tab, look for all the pages that have linked to them in the past, and if they've linked to the LinkedIn bio, find out whoever the author was. Make sure you find websites that are relevant to your niche, so they're not just random sites, so relevant to your industry, and then just reach out to the author of those articles and say, thanks for featuring my exec or my founder in your page or your article recently. Can you swap this LinkedIn link to one of these pages and keywords we're focusing on with the do follow link? And most of them say yes. It's quite a nice, easy win on backlinks. But there's a few other strategies I can share as well.
Nice. I love this one. I never heard of it. And I'm actually thinking now I made a mistake because at one point I called myself flip-flop entrepreneur on LinkedIn. So that was my URL. Then I might just have to add keywords into my LinkedIn slug. So now I think it's like B2B SaaS Crows. It doesn't have my name in there. If I ever change it again to say Joran Hofman, then I'm kind of screwed because all the backlinks won't work anymore.
Well, it's not so much that as well. It's more that sometimes these publishers, like if you're found, like you run your company, but let's pretend you're in a company that had an exec team, and let's say one of the marketing leaders appeared in an article, but they just linked to the LinkedIn URL instead of linking to one of your keywords or focus pages. So you could just say to them, look, can you add this link back to this page because we're focusing on it? And it kind of gives you a free link as well. But you're right, like LinkedIn pages can rank in Google search as well. So it's nice if you can get an optimized URL for your LinkedIn page.
And just make sure you pick the right keywords, I guess. You mentioned one thing as well, like publish at speed. I heard you talking about topics. Would you recommend people using content cluster, topic clusters when they start doing SEO?
It's a bit of a debate, isn't it? Some SEOs say that topical authority is a big thing. Others say it doesn't really matter. I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I think that a lot of those bottom of funnel money keywords I've mentioned, you don't necessarily need to build clusters for, especially terms like competitor alternatives, competitor pricing, competitor 1 versus competitor 2. They don't need topic clusters. You can just build the pages, build them out, or exhaust all of them because there's probably only so many that you can do, and get those rock and rolling so they can start ranking as quickly as possible. If you're trying to rank for maybe the detailed landing page or listicle page, it's quite competitive. So maybe it's best calendar scheduling software. And then you're trying to build some authority around it. So maybe as a result, you build 5, 6, 7 articles that supplement that, like what to consider before investing in calendar scheduling software, or how can I tell if calendar scheduling is right for me, or whatever it may be that's actually useful and relevant around that topic. And then those 5 to 7 articles, or however many weave out, then all internally link to this main landing page or this main topic page. And it kind of gives it a bit of a boost around that. So that is one play that seems to still work.
With a lot of content, people know what they need to write. Now they know exactly how they need to write, right? With these tips, building backlinks, correct me if I'm wrong, is always the biggest challenge SaaS companies have, where they don't know how to actually build them. So leveraging the LinkedIn profile is definitely one. Any other tips?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. I'll give you 2 more quick wins with backlinks. So again, this is going to be useful if you've got competitive pages and keywords that you want to rank. There's probably giants taking up the real estate at the moment on Google. So one is doing what we're doing now. Podcasting is great. That's been really useful for my company, Breaking B2B. One of my favorite tips is you just leverage a podcast search engine. So there's a good one called Listen Notes, listennotes.com. All you do is go to that website, type in the industry that you serve. In my case, SaaS marketing, B2B marketing. In someone else's case, your audience might be fintech, accounting, legal, whatever. Type in that. Straight away, you'll get a list of all the podcast shows in that niche. You can filter it to the top listened or the top downloaded episodes, or podcasts rather. And the beauty of that is you can see the top 10%, 5%, 2%, etc. shows, and the host of each one. So make a list of those, maybe just export them all to a Google Sheet, and make a habit of reaching out to a couple of those, 5 of those, let's say a week. I do it through LinkedIn and do simple stuff that helps me stand out from the rest of the outreach they'll get. I'm a big fan of super short outreach messages. So I probably did something a bit similar to yourself, actually. So I just find the show, find the host, find them on LinkedIn, send them a personalized request. Hey, Jess, had an unusual idea for your podcast. Are you against the conversation? Most people will read that and think, what the hell is Sam on about? Like, they'll accept the request and be like, Sam, what are you talking about? And I'll send them a Loom video. I'll go on to their podcast page, website, or article. I'll say, great work on your show and enjoyed the recent episode on XYZ. I've actually usually invited on similar shows to talk about this topic or talk about this topic. Would you be open to discussing having me on? You get quite a good hit rate from that because not many people bother to do the Loom. And then, yeah, do the episode on their show, make it a useful, valuable episode. But then when they publish it to the article page on their site, ask for a link back to one of your focus keywords. And you get like a double hit. One, you get their audience by being on the show, potential leads there, and you get a backlink. That's really good. And my last recommendation is a partnership play, which is probably quite supplementary to your business. Just find companies, find founders, find marketing leaders, whoever you tend to target, that go after the same ICP, the same dream clients as you, but are not direct competitors. So in my case, there's a LinkedIn ads agency called Impactable that Justin Rowe runs. We've been friends for a long time. Some time ago, I reached out to him on LinkedIn and said, look, I've got a bit of a strange idea. I think we could create some content together and ramp up each other's web traffic and drive some leads each other's way. He was like, sounds good. What can we do? Initially, I created a guest article on his website that was useful to his audience and asked for a backlink to my site in return to one of our focus keywords. And then from there, we started doing some podcasts together, and now we're referral partners. So we send work each other's way. It's a really good way to not just kind of get some SEO juice from a backlink, but also build up business relationships and kind of send work each other's way.
Yeah. Yeah. And in this case, it starts small. And then in the end, it went all the way to a referral partnership, which is nice. You're not asking a big thing at the beginning. It kind of works its way into it.
Always start small.
And one thing I liked as well, which you said, is with the Loom video, like pitching yourself for a podcast. I now get maybe 1 or 2 requests per day for people to come onto the podcast, but they're all super automated. Like you can clearly see when you open them up, I get almost 2 pages of why somebody should come onto the podcast and that they listen to my previous episode. But it's AI generated. So standing out by doing something personal on LinkedIn, Loom, is already helping a lot.
Big time. I'm the same, man. Like, those podcast pitches are pain. They're probably some of the worst outreach I get. Literally like 2-page emails, and I open it, I just instant delete. So I think you're right. It takes a bit more effort, but it seems to work.
Yeah, hit rate is going to be a lot bigger. When we do all these things, right? When we actually start doing SEO the proper way, we want to see results and have it clearly like you're doing it for revenue. So how do you measure the ROI of SEO?
So there's a few indicators, metrics that you can look at, kind of leading indicators that your SEO is working, early signs of life, let's say. Let's pretend we're a SaaS and maybe we've gone through some of those tips we've shared. And maybe we've gone for, I don't know, some of the quick wins like competitor alternative keywords and stuff like that. So early indications would be, right, we've published the page, let's say 2 to 3 months later, the rankings have settled. So we've seen an uptick. We've gone from non-existent to maybe we're top 3 organic. That's a nice early indicator. We're getting some click-through rates we can see that we're getting some click-throughs to the page. We're getting some organic traffic to the site, to the page. Maybe we're ramping up general session times on our website, because we can see that people are coming through to this money page and then they're visiting other pages. Maybe they're visiting the competitor alternative, then they're going through to the product page, then they may be checking out results. And maybe some of those are clicking through further or going off our site onto the YouTube channel. So that's kind of early signs of life. And then those are kind of leading indicators. Then lagging indicators would be things like folks actually reaching out for a sales call or booking a trial or taking a free sign up or taking a demo, or kind of more lagging conversion points or taking a lead magnet or signing up to a webinar, because ultimately that's the end goal. And that's why so much of what I talk about is traffic in SEO is vanity, because if you're purely doing top funnel stuff, you might get tons of traffic, but so few of it will convert. Whereas if you take the opposite approach, people are much more likely to kind of take that sign up, take that demo, because they actually have the sales intent behind it. They're not searching it for fun on Google or searching it to learn. They're searching it because they actually need the offer. And as you probably know, as most people tuning into this know, that B2B buying is rarely linear. It's often, especially as you get higher ticket, as you get into selling software that's 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 a year, it's not quick purchase. There's multiple execs involved. They're probably going to make a short list of 3, 4, 5 pieces of software or vendors. They're going to discuss it internally. They're not going to land on your website and suddenly book a demo and buy. They're going to probably land on your website, link your website back into their Slack channel, discuss it, forget about it for a while, check out your podcast, forget about it for a while, check out your results, forget about it for a while, see your retargeting LinkedIn ad, forget about it for a while, then go back to your website and maybe book a demo. So SEO is a piece of the SaaS marketing puzzle.
To turn that around, like what are the challenges SaaS companies will face while doing SEO? Because it sounds easy right now, right? But they're going to run into challenges.
Especially if you're a bigger organization. I think one of the biggest problems at larger scale corporations is not being able to publish at speed. Especially it's going to be painful for marketers if there's a lot of opportunity in search. So you might face, like, every time you search for your offer, compare yourself to alternatives or look for problems you solve, and you're just seeing the big giants ahead of you. Like, just being able to publish that content at a good speed is difficult because you need so much sign off in bigger organizations. So if there's any way that you can speed that up, whether getting those folks that need to be involved in the sign off stage earlier, because at larger corporations, SEO is more about communication than actually doing the work. I mean, being able to do the work is a baseline. Being able to communicate with stakeholders is way more important, in my opinion, especially at enterprise level. Whereas if you're a scrappy startup, then your issue is probably not it's probably balancing plates between your marketing tasks or having the cash to outsource it to a contractor or agency. So it's probably being able to actually give the SEO precedence and priority. So if you think, there is a lot of market demand, there's a lot of prospects searching for our offer, we could get a decent hit from SEO, we could get some decent leads, but it's being able to take a chunk out of each week and say, look, we're going to prioritize this time to building out this content, because we know that in 90 days or so within publishing, we'll be able to rank and get some decent traffic and potential leads from it. Is either carving out time, resource, or being able to communicate clearly is some of the big issues.
Nice. Maybe one challenge or not. I'm going to learn about that in a second. AI, I guess. I mean, it's popping up everywhere, right? Like we now actually get traffic, for example, ChatGPT ourselves.
Yeah.
You get results more instantly at search results. Like, how do you see the future of SEO and probably especially with AI evolving?
A good point. At the moment, it depends on your ICP. So it depends on your dream client. Because on LinkedIn, everyone says ChatGPT or AI is going to wipe out SEO. Truth is, a lot of industries don't even use AI that much to search. It depends on your buyer. If you've got a tech savvy ICP, then yes, they're going to use ChatGPT to search queries. If you've got a more traditional buyer, probably still going to Google or asking their peers or similar. So that's one thing to consider. But if you have more of a technical buyer, then they probably are using ChatGPT. They probably are using search. The main difference is being that you haven't got the traditional blue links that you do on Google where you have to trawl through the results and click into pages. You're getting the answers instantly presented. And it's a bit more difficult. It's almost more of a kind of brand play within tools like ChatGPT because it gives the results straight away, but the links through to the site are quite small, or the citations are quite small. So it's more like getting your brand mention rather than actually getting the click through, if that makes sense. And there is ways, like from what we've seen, it's still early, but in tools like SearchGPT and similar, a lot of SEO best practices seem to ring true. So doing the stuff we talked about, writing your pages in a conversational manner, making sure they're well structured and easy to consume, embedding rich media. So that could be YouTube video embeds on the page topic or that kind of stuff seems to work well. We've also been trialing on articles, things like doing a quick intro and also doing a headline for why should you trust us? So people get a quick snapshot of the article and why you should be trustworthy. That seems to help getting ranked in AI overviews on Google as well as SearchGPT. Backlinks from niche relevant sites tend to have an impact, and also brand mentions from other sites tend to help with that as well. A lot of SEO best practices seem to ring true at the moment when it comes to actually getting your site ranked on the AI tools.
In the end, they have to learn from somewhere. So they are going to basically scrape your site to get the information.
Yeah, it seems that way so far.
So we're going to close off the episode. Always ask these two questions at the end. You can take it more wider than SEO, or you can stick to SEO, however you would like to do. So when we talk about growing a B2B SaaS company, what kind of advice would you give a SaaS founder who's just starting out and growing to 10K monthly recurring revenue?
Good one. I don't know if I would do SEO. I think you could probably, in this day and age, work off founder brand, LinkedIn founder brand. So like that's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. What does that actually mean? What that means, I suppose I'm going in with a bit of a biased mindset because I've been on LinkedIn for a long time, and that generates a good chunk of business for us. So I'm going in for it. Let's pretend you're a founder and let's pretend you're, I don't know, in connecting with your ICP, connecting with your dream clients each week. You're posting useful content to your dream clients. Like you're talking about the problems you solve. You're talking about conversations you're having. You're answering common questions. You're positioning your product as a solution. You're giving case studies, you're giving examples, you're standing out, all that kind of stuff. So you're engaging with prospects, you're posting useful content. Maybe you're having conversations with your ICP, you're striking up combos in the DMs. I think that can get you to 10K. I think that's quite smart. But if you're brand new, and let's say you've never done LinkedIn, you've never touched LinkedIn before, then you might be better off then in that case, building that in the background and then maybe scaling with either paid or SEO is going to take you a bit longer compared to paid if there's demand for your offer.
For people listening, we had Adam Robinson. I interviewed him live in Austin. Found the part like he has a really
nice,
great episode. I'm just looking at the LinkedIn profile from Sam right now. He has 32,000 followers. It will take time to get there, but if you keep posting consistently, it will start growing over time. Don't expect quick result here either.
There is another way. I suppose you could also grow to 10K from network. So let's say, I'd imagine most founders have probably got some background in their product or their use case, leveraging existing connections. So whether that was past customers, past prospects, people that you've worked with in the past customers, past friends, connecting with those can like get you a few thousand MRR, just striking up conversations, saying, look, I've started up my own thing. Would you be open to having a chat? And then if they don't know someone, they might be able to refer you to someone else. I think being proactive and making sure you're having conversations, you're prospecting daily as a founder is important. And that can get you a good few thousand MRR at the start.
Yeah, nice. When you're active on social like LinkedIn, it is going to help you to establish these relationships quicker and keep them warm. So let's now assume we passed 10K MLR and we are going to make a huge step towards 10 million ARR. What kind of advice would you give a SaaS founder here?
Building out systems at scale, really. So most of our clients do a big multi-channel approach. So they now understand the platforms that their ICP are on. They have a deep understanding of their dream clients' top 3 most painful, expensive problems, like the impact of those problems and how to position their product as the pain cure, as the solution. So they're probably not just working on demand capture channels. So they're probably doing a mix of organic search, SEO. They've marketed well to that bottom of funnel, mid funnel, and working on the top funnel. They're probably doing paid media, so they're probably doing Google paid search. If they're a SaaS, they're probably on paid review sites, be it G2, Capterra, Trustera, whatever makes sense for your offer. Ideally, their execs are doing what we said at a personal brand level. So they're all posting on LinkedIn, building awareness around their product, their offer, and their brand. Those motions will get you to a decent level in terms of MRR. But then it depends on the go-to-market, right? Whether they're product-led, sales-led, marketing-led, and all that good stuff. I suppose I've got a bit of a different background because I run an agency at Breaking B2B. So I'm not SaaS, but I work with a lot of SaaS marketers, a lot of SaaS founders. And I probably have that strange mindset that outbound still works as well. So I'm often of the case, like start with the no-brainer channels. So start with capturing that 5% that's searching for your offer now with paid media, Google's paid search, SEO, paid review sites, etc. Build up demand for your offer. So for those folks that aren't necessarily in market now, but are maybe wanting to learn about your sector, educate themselves or entertain themselves. So maybe that involves starting a podcast around your industry, where maybe you invite potential prospects or clients or industry veterans, a bit like this. Or maybe you do solo episodes so you can build trust around your industry and showcase expertise. And then that fuels the demand engine. So then that content is then distributed to LinkedIn. So your ICP can consume that, goes out on YouTube, goes out on the audio podcast. Maybe your sales team use that for enablement as well. And I still believe outbound sales works pretty well as well. So I'm a fan of things like cold email. I think cold calling can work if you do it in a strategic manner. You know who to contact, and you know the right message, you know the right timing. And the last thing is experiments. I run experiments myself. A lot of companies I work with run experiments. Quite often that's a case of what could be a risk, but might make sense as a channel to experiment with. Is it a cold email? Is it LinkedIn ads? Is it doing a founder brand on LinkedIn? Is it something else? Was it starting a podcast? Going in with a hypothesis that my ideal client probably consumes this, probably will respond well to this, but I'm not 100%. I'm going to give it a good test, be that 2 quarters, half a year, depending on the typical run rate of the channel, and then giving it a good test, seeing how it goes, giving it a fair experiment. If it works, great, ramp it up. If it doesn't, you've learned from it. It's not the end of the world. Move on to the next test. We run experiments at my agency all the time, different channels, different ideas, and I think it's a good way to see what works as well.
Nice. Yeah, and I like the time frame you mentioned. Like an experiment in SaaS is not just a couple of weeks. It is going to be a couple of months to figure out if it's working or not.
Yeah, I think thinking in quarters makes a bit more sense than weeks, although it's easy to get in the short-term trap, and I'm very guilty of it as a founder.
Yeah. Let me try to summarize. So when we talk about SEO, what is SEO? Non-paid search results. Why should you care? Reduce reliance on paid ads. People ignore the paid ads. You're going to tap into the evergreen effect. SEO is not always the right move when you're expecting quick results, when your industry is not well known, or if you simply don't have the resources. I even made a step plan out of this, what you all mentioned. So the 9 steps for success for SEO: leverage insights from sales goals, create an overview of those insights with the offer, good clients, main competitors, the jobs to be done, build out your money keywords, turn it into long tail keywords. Don't focus on the traffic trap, focusing purely on top of funnel contents. Quick wins here are focusing on the competitor alternatives and the bottom of funnel content. Create articles how to, and low search volume is higher buyer intent. Then optimize your website, leverage client insights. Again, jobs to be done framework here as well. Publish at speed, bottom of funnel, don't need topic clusters. The bigger the company, the bigger the challenge to publish at speed. Embed richer media in the articles. Then do technical SEO, add keywords in the URL, metadata, H1s, add internal links. Mistake is wasting a lot of time on technical SEO, so don't focus too much on it. Build backlinks, leverage the founder, so find backlinks which are going to the LinkedIn profile. Podcasting is a great way to build backlinks. Partnership play, find companies which are going after the same ICP. 8, measure ROI, leading indicators, ranking, click-through rates, session times, lagging indicators, leaving information like demos, sign up, webinar, and then run experiments. What could be a risk, but would be worth to experiment? If you're 10K MR, focus on founder brand, social media, LinkedIn, or leverage your network. 10 million ARR, building systems for scale, deep understanding of problems of ICP, and doing multi-channel marketing.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Better than AI, almost. If people want to get in contact with you, you're really active on LinkedIn. Is that the best way to do so, or are there any other better ways?
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, there's three main ways. One is, like you said, LinkedIn, daily ramblings on B2B and SaaS SEO and tips and ideas and unusual case studies. And the second is the podcast, also called Breaking B2B. So we do weekly interviews either with a SaaS or B2B marketing leader. So they're sharing their secrets to what's actually driving growth. You can get actual tips. Or we do solo episodes on B2B marketing, SaaS marketing, and SEO. Or the third way is if you're maybe a SaaS marketer or founder that's tired of seeing competitors above you in Google's organic results, stealing traffic, mindshare, and leads, we might be able to help. You can head to breakingb2b.com to book a call.
We're going to make sure we'll link to the LinkedIn, to your podcast, and to the website with a keyword, I guess, because that's what you mentioned. So we're definitely going to do that. I would recommend checking Sam out on LinkedIn because he makes some funny videos asking the public on SEO or other things, him holding a beer and getting the most random answers from it. So definitely worth a listen. Check it out. Thanks, Sam, for coming on. For people listening, please leave us a review. We're going to add a poll to this podcast as well. Happy to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching this show of the Grow Your B2B SaaS podcast. You made it till the end, so I think we can assume you like this content. If you did, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you like this content, feel free to reach out if you want to sponsor the show. If you have a specific guest in mind, if you have a specific topic you want us to cover, reach out to me on LinkedIn. More than happy to take a look at it. If you want to know more about Veritas, feel free to reach out as well. But for now, have a great day and good luck growing your B2B SaaS.